Hey guys, this is the Iron Mobility Fitness channel and I'm Coach Hallie. Today we are going through a Turkish Get Up focused workout. And if you aren't warmed up yet, I suggest going to the description in this video. I linked a shoulder mobility routine that Coach Jeffrey did last week to help you prepare for this overhead focused Turkish Get Up workout. So do that first, warm up and prime your shoulders, and then join me here and now for a Turkish Get Up workout. Okay, so if you're ready, let's get into it. We're gonna start with a little half kneeling press variation that we are using with a light bell. So we're gonna do it for 4 reps on each side. You're gonna clean the bell up, get into a half kneeling position, press in the kneeling position, and then stand up and we'll switch sides. Okay, so here we go. Stand around your kettlebell, hinge over, and clean the bell up. Then step that same foot back and press in that half kneeling position. Come back up to the standing position, switch, and repeat. Clean, half kneeling, press. And notice that we are practicing this half kneeling position because it is part of the Turkish Get Up, which we are going to be doing in our main strength superset today. Here we go, 2 more on each side. Trying to lock in that overhead position. Feel that bicep really hug in toward your ear as the knuckles go up to the sky. 1 more each side. Here we go, last rep. And bring the bell down. Nice. And then we're gonna go into a plank variation. It's gonna be an elbow plank with a dolphin hip pike. Okay, so we're gonna be on our elbows and forearms. And we're gonna do it 5 times, inching our feet forward into the dolphin hip pike position, and then inching our feet back into this elbow plank position. So we're starting off here in our elbow plank, and then we inch the feet forward, pike the hips up, try to get your weight forward into your elbows and shoulders, inch back into that strong elbow plank, and repeat. Trying to get as much height with your hips as you comfortably can. Again, we're focusing on loading into the shoulders. Two more. Last one. And knees down to rest. Woo! And then we're gonna do a baby get up. You can just grab the same light bell that you had for the press variation. And we're gonna start in the fetal position, just like you would for your Turkish Get Up. And now we're gonna turn to our back with our legs at a 90-degree angle. This opposite arm is at about a 45-degree angle on the floor. And then I start to shift my knees over, get onto the side of my hip, and I press up into what we call a baby get up position. I'm balancing on the side of my glute and hip, and my fist is stacked above my shoulder, trying to pull the underside of my rib cage in and up, engage my obliques. And then I'm gonna do a few head rotations, turning my gaze down toward my bottom arm, and then back up toward my top hand. 1 more time. And then control down, rolling from my side to my back, and bring the bell down. We're gonna drag it around our head, and then do the same thing on the other side here. Got a big lump in the ground here, so hold on. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna turn to my back, find my nice stacked position with my wrist over my shoulder. This arm is pressing into the ground. My knees and hips start to rotate. And then I get up, really pressing out of this bottom shoulder like an elbow side plank. And then I can rotate my gaze. few times, keeping my shoulder stable as much as I can. Looking back up at my hand, and then roll down onto my back. Bring the bell down. Woo! Awesome. We're gonna take a little water break, and then we're gonna do that circuit one more time, starting with that little kneeling press variation. So just, get a sip of water. Grab your kettlebell. Woo! It's only like 65 degrees here, but the sun feels really intense. And this mat is very hot on my feet. So I'm feeling very heated and intense already. Might just be the mat and not the workout yet. All right, here we go. We're gonna hinge over. We got 4 reps on each side. Hinge over, big breath in, clean the bell up, get into your half kneeling position. Exhale, press, rack it, stand tall. Good, repeat on the other side. Make sure you're coordinating your breath with your movement. You want to exhale as you press. So we're fighting gravity, pressing the weight overhead as we exhale. We got 2 more on each side. Last one each rep. And last rep here. Good. Bring that bell down. Awesome. And then we have our elbow plank position with that dolphin hip pike. We're doing 5 times from that nice stable plank up to that high hip position. Here we go. Set yourself up. Find your nice stable plank position. And then really think of drawing that rib cage in and up as you pike the hips up and get that weight into your shoulders. 4 more. Inching those feet forward. We're really trying to wrap our whole abdominal wall in and up. 2 more. Really protract out of your scaps. Last one. Strong plank, hit that for a breath. And rest. Woo! All right, and then we've got that baby get up with the little head rotations. I'll turn maybe more to the side so you guys can see a different angle. Here we go. So set up in the fetal position. Turn onto your back. Knees are bent at about a 90-degree angle. And then the knees shift over, roll the pelvis, and then get up onto your elbow and your hip. And then just hold the position as you change your gaze from that bottom arm up to the top hand. Filling up the rib cage, obliques are engaging. Good, and then roll with control to your back. Bring the bell down. Good, and then just drag that around your head to get to your other side. We want to be safe about transitioning. We'll talk about it more with the Turkish Get Up too, but we drag the bell around our head rather than bringing it over our chest. Here we go. Turn to your back. And then shift those knees and hips. Find that stability. Rib cage wrapping in and up away from the floor. Pressing out of that bottom arm and shoulder. 2 more head rotations. And notice my bottom leg is floating just a little bit off the ground, so it's just the side of my hip and my elbow and forearm that are in contact with the floor. And then control yourself to your back and bring the bell down. Woo. Nice. Okay, my friends, we're going to take a water break. And then we have our Turkish Get Up main strength superset. We're going to be doing some Turkish Get Ups and some single leg deadlifts today as a superset. I'll meet you back here in a minute after you get some water and breathe. All right, my friends, we are about to go into our Turkish Get Ups. So you are going to grab a heavier bell for your Turkish Get Up because we're just doing 1 rep on each side. And then we are going to go into some single leg deadlifts. Okay, so whatever side you want to start on, just start in your fetal position. Okay, you always want to start in the fetal position for a Turkish Get Up. It's the safe way. We don't want to drop heavy weights on ourselves. Okay, so you're going to turn onto your back, press the kettlebell straight above your shoulder. Opposite arm and leg are at those 90-degree angles. This foot is flat on the floor with the knee bent. And we drive that foot into the ground, getting across onto our elbow, onto the hand. Press the hips up and drive your knee under. Hinge into that hip and get to your half kneeling position. And then press the foot down into the floor to stand all the way up. And then we just reverse everything. Take your time with it. Hit each position nice and strong. Breathe. Roll to your back. And bring the bell down. Nice. And then we just switch that bell over. Whoop. Put the mat in the way. There we go. Whoops. Okay. Same thing on this side. Take a big breath in. And turn onto your back. Opposite arm and leg at that diagonal. Drive the foot into the floor. Hip goes across. Get onto your hand. Hip come up. Knee sweeps back. Hinge into that hip. Come up. Half kneeling position. Drive all the way up to that standing position. And then step back with control. Open up your position. Look up at the kettlebell. Hand comes to the floor. Sweep that leg through. Bring the elbow down, turning the chest to the side, and then to your back. Woo! Nice. All right, my friends. So we're supersetting that with some single leg deadlifts, and we're going to use 2 kettlebells. So you have the option of using bells of the same size or 2 different weights. So I'm going to do my 16 kilogram here, this black and yellow one, and a 10 kilogram. So I'm going to put the heavier bell on the inside of my front foot and lighter bell on the outside. And we're going to do 8 reps of just a single leg deadlift. Just trying to have a nice control on the way down. So like 2 or 3 counts on the way down into the hinge position. Exhale, stand up in like 1 or 2 counts. So we're getting a little slower on the way down than when you stand up, and then we'll switch to the other side. Okay, you're going to start in your split stance position with your back foot has that heel popped up behind you. Hinge over, stand tall with both bells. And then we float that leg behind us. Exhale, stand. 7 more. Trying to get as much length from your heel to the top crown of your head as you hinge into that one standing leg. 4 more. And make sure you bend into that standing leg. That bend knee helps you get more into the glute and hamstring. 2 left. Last rep. Hinge over. Woo! Nice. Just take a few moments to breathe. Feels good to do a single leg deadlift. Really targets the meat of your hamstring and glute. And you can really isolate it with that single leg, obviously. So it just feels good. Okay, set it for other side. Again, my heavier bell because I turned all the way around, my heavier bell is still on the inside of my front foot. Hinge over in that split stance position. Exhale, stand, and then we start counting our reps from here. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, stand. 6 more. Remember, bend into that standing legs knee. And doesn't matter how low your chest can go, you want to really lengthen from the heel to the top of your head and keep the load going into your glute and hamstring. 2 left. Last rep. Hinge. Set them down. Nice. Okay, we're going to take about a 90-second break, get some water, and then we're going right back into our Turkish get-ups. Whew. I love doing Turkish get-ups, by the way. A lot of people kind of diss the Turkish get-up, saying it's just kind of a silly performative move, doesn't really make sense, like you don't really need it, how is it functional, how is it building strength? But the Turkish get-up is one of those things that if you build the foundation of all of those positions, all of your kettlebell skills are going to be stronger. And there is so much, like there's so many benefits to bringing heavy weight from the floor into a standing position, because especially as you get older, if you don't know how to get up and down off the floor safely, it could really, ruin your quality of life and lead to like bone breaks and things like that if you fall. So, I love the Turkish get up because it really does create that confidence for the floor get up and get down situation. And also it just kind of feels badass to hold a heavy weight overhead as you move through space. So there's lots of other, important things for your shoulder stability, your mobility of your shoulder joint, keeping that all healthy and strong for your overhead positions as you move the kettlebell from the floor to the overhead position. So there's just lots of different benefits of it. And yes, will it build a ton of muscle for you? Maybe not. Like it won't do maybe as much as like repetitive strict presses would for your shoulder strength, but it's going to create a really strong, stable shoulder joint. And that is super important. All right, here we go. Second round. Remember, take your time hitting each position. Here we go. Big breath in and turn. Set yourself up. Drive this foot into the floor to get the hip to turn and get to that elbow in a smooth motion. And then drive the hips up to create space for that knee to come under, hinge into the hip, come up to that half kneeling position. Oops, there was a rock under my knee or something. And then stand. Whew. And then step that foot right back down. Open up your position, hinge, look up at the kettlebell, hand to the floor, that shoulder takes weight, coming down with control. Turn the chest to the side before you roll to your back and bring it down. Nice. And then drag that kettlebell all the way around. Take a breath. And then we're doing it again on this side. Here we go. Breathing in and turn. Hitting each position with that exhale to stabilize. Take your time on the way down. Bring the bell down safely. You want to roll with it, right? So the momentum of the heavy bell coming down as you turn will make sure it doesn't like land on your shoulder or your face. Okay, then grab your kettlebells for our single leg deadlift. Take a few moments to breathe, maybe hydrate a little. All right, here we go. Find your split stance position. Hinge over and stand tall. Float that leg behind you as you hinge. And just focus on keeping your balance as best you can. Keeping your hips and pelvis square to the floor so those back toes aren't turning open to the side. And that'll help us load more effectively into our standing legs, hamstring and glute max. 2 more. Last rep. Hinge and set them down. Woo! Nice, just take a few breaths. You can always come back to a nice diaphragmatic 3-dimensional breath. Here we go. Set up with your next foot forward. That split stance position. And then hinge over. Big breath in. Exhale, stand. And here we go. Balancing on that leg. Controlling down, loading into that hamstring and glute. 5 more. Two left. Last rep. And set the bells down. Nice. All right, we're gonna do one more set of that Turkish get up and single leg deadlift superset. Feels so good to work out outside. Finally have some real almost summer weather. Feels good. Oh, hello. Okay. Stay right there, bud. Don't come any closer, okay? You can watch me though. Okay, we've got our third set of the Turkish get up. Set yourself up in your fetal position. And here we go. Turning onto our back, pressing that bell up and driving the hip across, getting to your elbow, then to your hand, and then hips drive up to sweep that leg under, hinge, and then find that tall kneeling position. That front foot closes in to come all the way up to stand. And then reverse everything down. Look up at the bell as you bring that hand to the floor. Sweep that leg through to the elbow, all the way to your back. And bring it down. Woo! And then just drag that bell around to get to the other side. Here we go. Big breath in. Exhale and turn. And then drive that hip across. Oh yeah, here we go. Up to the hip extension. Knee comes back. Hinge. And stack your body all the way to stand. Here we go, all the way down. Control every position. Keep those knuckles pressing up toward the sky. Hips come down, elbow down, roll, and bring the bell down. Woo! Okay, And then we have one more set of the single leg deadlifts. Hi, bud. Whew. Just need a sip of water real quick. Hot out here in the sun. Yeah, it is. Okay, stay over there, bud, because I'm going to do some other exercises. Don't want to kick you in the face, okay? You can watch, though. All right. So here we go. Set up your feet. Nice stable position. Hinge over and stand. And then we float that leg. Exhale, press and drive down through that standing foot. 6 more. 4 left. 2 more. Last one. Hinge, set them down. Woo! Take some time to breathe. We got the other side. Gonna get my hips a little bit side to side. Woo! Loosen them up here for a moment. Okay. Last 8 reps on this last leg. And then we are done with this workout, my friends. Here we go. Hinge over. Pick up the belt. And now 8 solid reps. 6 left. 4 more. 2 left. Last one. Set them down. Woo! All right, my friends, that's it for the workout today. Thanks so much for joining me. You can cool down on your own. And just remember, subscribe to the Iron Mobility channel for all your fitness needs. We've got mobility routines, kettlebell swings, kettlebell strength, technique tips, and also pre and postpartum fitness tips and workouts as well. All right, thanks, and we'll see you soon. Bye.